Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Pennywise the Dancing Clown first crawled out of Stephen King's imagination and the sewers of Derry, Maine in the 1986 novel It. On the surface, he looks like your classic circus clown. Shiny silver outfit, big red buttons, poofy sleeves, wild orange hair, and a smile that's a little too eager. You know that feeling when someone smiles and you're not sure if they're friendly or planning your doom? Yeah, that's Pennywise's whole vibe. But here's the thing, he's not really a clown. Nope. He's actually an ancient, shape-shifting creature from another dimension who wakes up every 27 years to munch on fear and, well, children. The clown form is just his sneaky disguise to lure kids close. The mystery behind him is wild. His true form is so weird and terrifying that human brains can't even handle it. Think cosmic nightmare wearing clown shoes. He can turn into whatever scares you most. Spiders, zombies, you name it. And his scariest scenes? Oh, plenty. There's poor Georgie in the storm drain. Hiya, Georgie! Still haunts people decades later. Or that insane projector scene where he suddenly jumps out of the screen. Basically, Pennywise proves one thing. If a clown offers you a balloon from a sewer, just say no. The leper, Eddie's fear. This lovely form pops up when Pennywise goes after Eddie Kasprak, who, let's be honest, is the biggest germ freak in the group. Eddie's that kid who thinks catching a cold is a death sentence, and his mom doesn't help. She's basically turned him into a walking pharmacy with an inhaler and a list of fake illnesses. So, of course, Pennywise decides to hit him where it hurts, disease. When Eddie explores the spooky old house on Neibolt Street, because why wouldn't you check out a haunted house? He runs into this absolutely revolting creature called the leper. Imagine a person who looks like they've melted halfway, skin hanging off, wheezing, dripping goo, and trying to hug you. That's Pennywise's idea of fun. The leper shuffles toward Eddie, coughing and moaning, and Eddie freaks out completely, because to him, this is the living, walking version of everything he's ever feared. But here's the best part. Later, Eddie actually faces the leper. He realizes it's just another mask, another trick. He grabs it, pushes back, and proves that his fear doesn't control him anymore. So the leper is not merely a monster, it is Eddie's personal nightmare that helps him grow up a little, and maybe wash his hands less. Mrs. Kersh, the old woman, witch. This version of Pennywise is as weird and creepy as it sounds. So, Beverly Marsh, one of the kids from the Losers Club, grows up and comes back to her old hometown, Derry. She visits her childhood home, which now belongs to this sweet-looking old lady named Mrs. Kersh. At first, it's all warm smiles and tea, like something straight out of a cozy grandma commercial. But then, the grandma starts acting off. She moves strangely, her smile lingers too long, and she drops unsettling lines like, "Are you still Daddy's little girl?" Uh-oh. Of course, because this is it. Mrs. Kersh isn't a slightly weird old lady. She's Pennywise in disguise. He's using this creepy form to poke right at Beverly's deepest fears, her memories of her abusive father, and her fear of growing up and losing safety. The nice old woman suddenly transforms into this horrifying, towering, naked witch-like creature with gray skin, glowing eyes, and a smile straight from your worst nightmares. It's funny because Pennywise starts the scene like, "Want some tea?" and ends it like, "Surprise, I'm your trauma." The Mrs. Kersh form shows how Pennywise doesn't just jump out and yell boo. He sneaks in, makes you feel safe, and then destroys that comfort. Moral of the story, if a nice old lady in your childhood home offers you cookies, run! The giant spider/spider-clown hybrid. This is the big finale version of Pennywise, when he drops the circus act and says, "All right, enough clowning around." So here's what happens. Deep beneath the town of Derry, where all the creepy stuff has been happening, the Losers Club finally confronts Pennywise. But instead of the usual red balloons and pointy teeth, he transforms into this huge spider-like creature, with the body of a monstrous arachnid, and the head of, a clown. It's like someone threw a clown into a blender with a tarantula and said, "Perfect, that's horror." This form appears because it's the closest thing humans can understand about Pennywise's true self. He's actually a cosmic creature from another dimension, but our tiny human brains can only process so much. So instead of a Lovecraft-style nightmare we can't even describe, we get a clown-spider combo that's somehow both goofy and terrifying. The spider-clown form crawls around in the sewers, snapping at the losers with giant legs and that disturbingly cheerful face. It's the ultimate piece of, I hate clowns, and I hate spiders. Basically, Pennywise saves his weirdest, creepiest, most over-the-top look for last. Because what's scarier than a clown that bites? A clown that bites and scuttles. The headless boy, Ben's fear. Let's talk about one of the creepiest and most underrated forms of Pennywise, the headless boy, which shows up to scare poor Ben Hanscom. Now, Ben's the sweet, quiet kid in It, the one who gets bullied for being overweight and spends a lot of time at the library, minding his own business. So naturally, Pennywise decides to ruin that peaceful library moment with some top-tier horror. Here's what happens. Ben's in the Derry Public Library, looking through old photos of a tragic explosion that happened years ago at the Kitchener Ironworks. He finds a picture of a headless boy who supposedly died in that accident. Creepy, right? Then, as he's flipping pages, an Easter egg rolls toward him, glowing and sizzling like something out of a haunted Easter basket. He follows it down to the basement, which, of course, is always a bad idea in horror movies. And out comes this horrifying figure, a decapitated boy, burnt and bloody, stumbling after him. The headless boy in it isn't a random gore. It's Pennywise getting inside Ben's head, playing on his fear of being forgotten, unseen, and powerless. Kind of like a ghost with no identity. And honestly, it's both terrifying and weirdly rude, like, let the poor kid enjoy his books. But that's Pennywise's specialty, turning your insecurities into monsters that chase you through libraries. The flute lady, painting woman, Stanley's fear. This one belongs to poor Stanley Uris, the neat, rule-following kid who just wants everything to make sense. Unfortunately, there's nothing logical about a woman crawling out of a painting. So, in Stanley's dad's office, there's this weird painting of a pale woman with a stretched-out face and haunting eyes, holding a flute. The thing already looks wrong. Like Picasso tried horror art. Every time Stanley looks at it, he feels uneasy, like the woman's eyes are following him around the room. And because Pennywise loves to weaponize people's fears, he decides to bring that painting to life. One day, the woman literally steps out of the frame, all crooked limbs, pale skin, and that creepy flute in hand. She moves in this jerky, unnatural way, like a broken puppet trying to do yoga. Stanley absolutely loses it, and who can blame him? A painting coming to life is right up there with spiders in your shoes on the list of nope moments. The funny thing is, this version of Pennywise doesn't even need to talk or laugh. She just exists, and that's enough to ruin your day. So yeah, the flute lady is basically what happens when your least favorite art piece decides to chase you. Georgie's corpse, Bill's guilt. Picture this. You're Bill Denbrough, a kid haunted by the worst kind of what if. Your little brother Georgie went out to play one rainy day, and instead of coming home with a soggy paper boat, he never came home at all. You've spent years replaying it in your head. If you'd gone with him, if you'd stayed inside, if you'd just done something different. And then, out of nowhere, your dead brother shows up again, smiling. Yeah, it's that kind of story. Pennywise knows exactly what he's doing here. Out of all his scary disguises, clowns, lepers, and spiders, nothing cuts deeper than guilt, and Bill's guilt is practically glowing neon for the monster to feed on. So, Pennywise puts on his best rotting Georgie impression. He shuffles in, whispering in that innocent little voice, "You lied, and I died." It's not just a jump scare, it's emotional warfare with clown makeup. The brilliance of this form is how wrong it feels. Bill wants so badly to believe it's really Georgie, to make things right, but every second reminds him that it's not. It's a cruel puppet show starring his pain, Beverly Marsh, Ben's fear. So this version of Pennywise is pure emotional damage. For Ben Hanscom, the poor guy who spent his whole life feeling like the fat kid, Pennywise doesn't need sharp teeth or creepy laughs. All he needs is a good mind game. So what does the clown do? He pretends to be Beverly, the girl Ben's been in love with forever. Before the big fight, Ben admits he's scared, and Beverly comforts him, smiling sweetly and saying, "I'll always be with you." For a second, Ben actually feels loved. He leans in to kiss her, thinking maybe life isn't so bad after all. Then she suddenly drops the act, laughs, and says, "Do you really think I could like someone as fat and gross and disgusting as you?" Her face twists, flames burst from her head, and she starts laughing even harder as she runs toward him, before finally morphing into Pennywise. By using Beverly's sweet words, Pennywise takes Ben's biggest fear of being fat, ugly, and unlovable, and turns it into a living nightmare. It's not a clown with fangs this time. It's your crush turning into a fire demon and roasting you emotionally and literally. And if you think this is Pennywise at his worst, oh, You have no idea what Stephen King's other monsters are capable of. Jump over to every Stephen King monster explained in 10 minutes. You'll see what I mean.